A very warm welcome and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers, and on behalf of University of Stirling, thank you very much indeed for giving us this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have the next slide, please? Today's topic, a very important one at that, is educate to empower. And given the paucity of time, I'll try to keep it as short as I can. And primarily the focus of today's presentation is to explain how we at the Stirling RAK campus talk about how we empower our graduates to face a real world challenge. So the topic is... The topic, what we are going to be focusing is on, I'll start with the modern global student and how we at the Stirling RAK campus empower our students to face a real world challenge. If education, ladies and gentlemen, does not have a societal impact, then it would barely qualify, not even as its weakest equivalence. Education, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, is a tool for individual and collective knowledge empowerment, and its impact reaches beyond the classical definitions and confines of the classroom. What we believe at Stirling RAK is that education, it's a fulcrum that transforms as individuals' hopes, aspirations, desire to identify opportunities, which helps us evolve, acquire a sense of equality to pursue one's faculties uninhibitedly and with confidence into the problem-solving skills, critical thinking abilities, and an all-round societal personality, personal growth, and creativity. When we talk about the modern education today, with the advent of globalization and the advanced technology, the world today has transformed so much. And if we don't, as educators, take the onus of providing or empowering our students to face a real world challenge, then we fail short in terms of preparing our students for the real world. So when we talk about the fast pace of the global change, it has forced the educational institutions to have a different perspective. This calls for providing the foundation and the process skills for students to remain competitive. We live, ladies and gentlemen, in a very, very competitive environment. And if we as an educational institution does not take that lead role in terms of preparing or empowering our students, then they do not succeed in today's real competitive world. Very quickly, again, given the paucity of time, I'll just tell how we at the Stirling RAK campus are changing the context of teaching and learning, both from a student and education perspective that promotes high quality education. We do have a Stirling RAK model, and then we have embedded that as part of our curriculum. When we talk about the holistic and the all-round development of our students, that's what we believe in as well. So if you look at the framework, we believe in a formal education to the final placement. And thanks to Dr. Niyati for making my life a lot easier, where you spoke a lot about cognitive abilities, and we talk about how we as educational institutions embed student engagement as part of the curriculum. So when you talk about student engagement, we look at student engagement from three perspectives: the behavioral, the cognitive, and the emotional. So we start with the cognitive aptitude, moving up to the practical intelligence. So when we embed skills as part of the curriculum, we also give avenues for students to apply that in the practical sense. So we talk about the cognitive aptitude, which is a skills and competence building workshops and reflections as part of the curriculum, moving up to the conceptual intelligence, where we essentially do a skills audit, professional certification, and short courses, because without that, with the technical courses or the technical learnings which happens in the four walls of the classroom in today's competitive environment, it's not good enough. So we make sure that we allow our students to take professional certification courses. Then we talk about an avenue for creative and intuitive intelligence, which is project and research collaborations with faculty and industry. And all this, ladies and gentlemen, happens in a span of 3 to 4 years. And then we talk about the real exposure, which is a practical intelligence, which is on-the-job training and so on. So at University of Stirling RAK, we believe in the holistic and an all-round development of our students, and events such as guest lectures, workshops, seminars, industry visits, sectoral HR forums. These sharpen the students' cognitive and the conceptual intelligence, and progressively, creative and intuitive intelligence becomes a habit, and these will therefore transform into the practical approach on a task to a superior level. Now, when we talk about educate to empower, and that's my topic for the day, the reach and impact of education today is not just limited to the classroom, as we all know, but it's in the real world. And this triggers the learning new skills and building upon the existing ones. And these skill learning is like a chain reaction processed in the cerebral cortex. And that's why we talk about the cognitive part, often manifesting different forms of abilities. And these new skills manifestation build upon the web of the existing skill sets, which gives people new opportunities in the job market. And the new skills is the new level of confidence that we are talking about. So ideally, what we have in Stirling RAK is we are very much focused in the graduate attributes, which is embedded as part of the curriculum. We essentially say that every graduate is unique and will have their own experience, their own approach and voice, but through the degree and the opportunities we give students, and this essentially focuses on either being a subject specialist or being innovative and creative, social intelligence, making them digitally literate and responsible for their own behavior. And when we talk about the graduate matrix, the matrix breaks down the elements of the graduate attributes so that the students can understand how to start to build them during their time at the university. And again, like I said, it's a span of 3 to 4 years that we essentially help. And it gives them examples of activities which might help develop these attributes. So it's not essentially a linear path, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matrix which will be developed piece by piece during the time at Stirling. I've just taken one where we are focusing on the Stirling graduate attribute matrix. So if you're essentially talking about helping our students to be a subject specialist, then we ideally have defined it, and the activities that go side by side in terms of the disciplinary knowledge, evidence-based understanding, and like I said, in the framework, the practicability quotient. So this is what we ideally focus on. And to give an example, so I've got 3 examples that we have live to validate what we do in terms of the Stirling graduate attribute matrix. So it essentially starts with intensive guided learning training. Then we collaborate with the organizations for the guided learning journey. Then the real world project exposure. It happens through a lot of team sessions and fun activities, and then the overall performance scoring. So ideally during the quiet time, during the summer time, which is almost 3.5 months, we put our students through rigorous internships with the corporates. And one example was where we collaborated with an organization for remote internship, which is Octave in Sri Lanka, for a 30-day data science remote internship. So students who are in their 2nd and the 3rd year of the university program, they were called upon for remote internships as data scientists, and they were working along with the real-time data scientists of Octave Sri Lanka. And during the process, the whole project was a rigorous learning process, which included internal workshops and practical sessions. Students were put on real-time projects. I'm just skimming through the slides again because of the paucity of time. So students were put in the real-world projects. They had to go through a lot of rigorous data scientist courses, professional certification courses, and so on. They were constantly monitored, and we at Stirling RAK believe in the concept of self-regulated learning. And drawing on the concept of self-regulated learning, the first task was to help them plan and brainstorm the ways to solve the project goal. And the agenda was to have a one-on-one project discussion. So the students, thrice a week, they were meeting with a real-time data scientist. They were monitoring their progress. And if there were flaws or gaps, then that was then being trained and taught. As you can see here, after they successfully completed all the first 4 levels, the student presented their analysis, the actual real-time project, to the Octave board, and which included data scientists, data analytics, business intelligence, and so on and so forth. And it was indeed a great opportunity, and that tradition, ladies and gentlemen, till today follows. So we do have that collaboration with Octave Sri Lanka on remote projects where we have 20, 30 students working on data scientists. And what a fantastic way of allowing students or empowering students. And this is what we talk about, educating to empower. Likewise, we do have something called the WRP program, which is a work readiness program. So ideally, through the work readiness program, what we have is for the different domains we have, whether we talk about our accounting and finance students or the computing students, they are put on certain projects. So the projects could be for a period of, let's say, 2.5 months or 3 months or 3.5 months and so on and so forth. During this time, students get the real world exposure. So to give an instance of the first one, for our accounting and finance students, so we have students from the foundation, we have students from the first, second, third, and the fourth year of the program. They were put under a program of financial health check. So we collaborated with an auditing firm in Dubai, and it started with our in-house faculty giving them the training of auditing skills. We had the auditing firm coming on campus and providing a comprehensive auditing skills. Students then had an opportunity to work with the auditing firm for a week. And the best part is, after all of this, students had an opportunity to go and be with a real client to, impart their auditing skills that they have gained. So you can see some of the visuals of, all of that. And in terms for our IT students, as we speak, we have a good 125 odd students who have now collaborated with the Red Hat Talent Academy of Dubai, where they are doing a professional certification courses on OSAD, that's application software development, as you can see here. So students are on that professional certification course for 3.5 months, a self-paced course. So as and when they complete the professional certification, so they do have the professional certification course. And with that, they are then placed for internships and placements as well. So when we talk about, I'll skip this slide and then come to, again, given the paucity of time. So when we talk about graduate attributes, educating to empower at Stirling RAK, skill development through our student engagement in various forms of discussion, debates. It essentially encourages the diverse viewpoints, inculcating habits of inquiry, analysis, and evaluation. And these are important, are imperative in fostering team attitude, lessons, and prides of accomplishment. So when we talk about educating to empower, these are probably the most important primary achievements of education and curriculum, as Dr. Niyati was rightly saying, how we embed it as part of the curriculum. We embed all of these as part of the curriculum that students learn in the classrooms, and it kind of comes close to next. So to draw a parallel from a harmonic motion, the attributes of student skill development in a classroom setting are like equilibrium restoring force, bringing purpose, attention, and student education objectives to equilibrium. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call today as curriculum. And when we talk about this, educating to empower through the WRP programs, through the graduate attributes, this for Stirling RAK defines education. Thank you very much indeed.